Now eventually, every single pro wrestler has to hang up their wrestling boots for the final time. The last match of a wrestler's career is perhaps the most important match they will ever have, as it represents their legacy and what they've given to the world of pro wrestling. There have been some famous last matches, including The Undertaker, who competed in his last match against AJ Styles at WrestleMania 36, and Stone Cold Steve Austin, who officially retired in 2003 against his arch nemesis, The Rock. However, there are also times that a wrestler's final match slips under the radar and fans often forget about a specific wrestler's retirement match. Which are they? Well, join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 10 forgotten last matches of WWE Legends. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Number 10. Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper's retirement match should have been presented as a huge deal, but sadly it wasn't. In relation to Piper's final match in WWE, this actually came in 2011 with a forgotten victory over The Miz on Raw. His official retirement match would come in 2011 when Piper would team with Bob Orton Jr. to take on the legendary duo of Mick Foley and Terry Funk. With the star power in this match, there should have been a lot of fanfare surrounding the match. However, it took place at a JCW independent show. Number 9. Big Boss Man. Considered by wrestling fans as well as fellow wrestlers to be one of the biggest big men of all time, the Big Boss Man was an excellent pro wrestler that left a lasting impression on the industry. The Big Boss Man's final WWE match took place back in 2002, and it saw him lose to Tommy Dreamer on Heat. The final time that the former hardcore champion would step back into the ring would be 2 years later, when he would lose the IWA World title to Jim Duggan in a match in Japan. The Big Boss Man unfortunately passed away just a few months after his final match, but his legacy was cemented forever when he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2016. Number 8. The Ultimate Warrior. The Ultimate Warrior's final WWE match saw him defeat Owen Hart via DQ on Raw in 1996, and it's common knowledge that the Warrior would later embark on an infamous run in WCW. The run was a complete failure, and the main aim of Warrior coming into the promotion was to finally put over Hulk Hogan. It's a misconception that Warrior's infamous match with Hogan at 1998's Halloween Havoc pay-per-view was his final match, but believe it or not, Warrior decided to come out of retirement a decade later for one final match. He would wrestle for the NWE promotion in Spain, and his opponent for his last ever in-ring encounter would be Orlando Jordan. Yeah, that's right, former US champion Orlando Jordan would get the honor of wrestling Warrior in his final match. Naturally, Warrior won the match, which happened to be for the promotion's world title, and afterwards Warrior cut a promo which would put an end to his wrestling career. In the promo, Warrior would state, "First of all, I want to thank the NWE for its hospitality, friendliness, professionalism, and for bringing me over here to Spain to wrestle in this return match after 10 years of being absent from the ring. I created and performed an incredible persona, the Ultimate Warrior. I talked about during this return how, when I become this character, there's a transformation that takes place. That's indeed true. But behind the face paint, there are certain personality characteristics of the Ultimate Warrior that are still mine in my everyday life. When I leave this evening, the belt will stay. It will be your choice. Thanks again. I love the Ultimate Warrior fans from all over the world. I appreciate it." Number 7. Macho Man Randy Savage. Macho Man Randy Savage deserved a send-off match that was fitting for the legend he was, but instead, Savage retired in a forgotten-about 6-man tag match in TNA back in 2004. The match in question saw Savage team with Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles to take on Jeff Jarrett, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash. The issue with the match was that Savage didn't join the match until 16 minutes into it, and he would only wrestle for the final sequence. Savage would pin Jarrett after he recountered a sunset flip attempt with a punch. It was really underwhelming, and it was clear that Savage wasn't in any position to be in the ring. Original booking plans actually called for Savage to wrestle again at the next TNA pay-per-view, and this was going to see Savage win the NWA World title, but this didn't happen as he decided to quit TNA and leave the world of pro wrestling behind. Number 6. Booker T. The 6-time world champion Booker T's last WWE match came in 2012 when he teamed up with Drew McIntyre to take on the duo of Christian and Mark Henry at a house show. However, his final match in the world of pro wrestling actually happened in 2020 when Booker competed in his own reality of wrestling promotion in Texas. The match would see Booker bring back his GI Bro persona in an 8-man tag match, and Booker's team ended up losing the match, and the match was designed to build towards a big storyline in the promotion, and Booker's team losing would act as a catalyst for the story arc. The match is available to watch for free on YouTube, and it's easy to see why Booker is often asked about coming out of retirement, as he looked incredible in his final match. Number 5. Curt Hennig. Curt Hennig was one of the most gifted in-ring talents to ever step foot in the squared circle, and someone of his legendary status of Hennig deserved a better final match than what he received. Hennig's final match in WWE saw him lose to Matt Hardy on Heat in 2002, but for Hennig's final match in pro wrestling, he would wrestle in TNA against David Flair in an axe handle on a pole match. The match really wasn't well received. In fact, it was often cited as being the worst match of Hennig's entire career. The match would come just a month before Hennig's untimely passing at the age of 44. Number 4. The British Bulldog. The legendary superstar the British Bulldog's last match on WWE television would actually be against fellow legend Eddie Guerrero. This clash would take place on Heat, and it resulted in a double DQ finish. Bulldog would wrestle one final time in WWE, and this would see him secure a victory over Steve Blackman on a house show event, and footage of this match has never been made public. Following his WWE departure, the Bulldog would only wrestle a total of 2 more matches. The final of these came in 2002 when Bulldog competed in a 6-man tag match for the Top Rope Championship Wrestling promotion. Bulldog teamed with his son Harry Smith in his 6-man tag match, which was no doubt a memorable experience for both Bulldog and Smith. Number 3. Chyna. The 9th wonder of the world, Chyna is without a doubt one of the most important female stars in pro wrestling history. Although her final days in her time in the WWE were filled with political and personal turmoil, her final run in WWE saw Chyna embark on a run as women's champion for the first time in her career. Chyna's final match in WWE would be a match against Alita at 2001's Judgment Day pay-per-view, and this was an appropriate way to end her WWE career. Chyna would then have a run in New Japan Pro Wrestling before having her final match in TNA all the way back in 2011. This match would see Chyna team with Kurt Angle to take on the team of Jeff and Karen Jarrett. But Chyna's in-ring time was kept rather limited, and the match wasn't the best showcase of the former Intercontinental Champion's talent. Number 2. Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant's final match for the WWE, which aired on television, took place at Wrestlemania 6. This saw him team with Haku as the duo lost their tag titles to Demolition. Andre would actually wrestle again for WWE, appearing at a number of house shows, but the match at Wrestlemania 6 is commonly cited as his final WWE match. Although this was his final WWE match, Andre would go on to wrestle over 100 more matches before his official retirement. Andre's official last match came in All Japan Pro Wrestling, and it saw he, Baba and Rusha Kimura defeat Hakura Igen, Manasoba Fuchi and Motoshi Akuma in front of over 16,000 fans in Japan's capital. And number 1. Hulk Hogan. As Hulk Hogan is one of the biggest names in pro wrestling, it would be expected that Hogan's farewell match would have been one of the biggest box office attractions in wrestling history. Hogan's last WWE match took place at SummerSlam in 2006, and Hogan would face Randy Orton in a lackluster match which should have seen Hogan put over the young star, but obviously this never happened. Hogan would wrestle several more times over the years, and his final match would actually be at a house show. That's right, one of the biggest wrestling stars to ever lace up a pair of boots had his final match at a house show. In January of 2012, during Hogan's infamous run in TNA, Hogan, Sting and James Storm defeated Kurt Angle, Bobby Roode and Bully Ray in Manchester, England in front of around 5,000 fans. Now, it was rumoured that Hogan was going to come out of retirement to appear in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania 36, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic taking over the world, these plans were cancelled and Hogan remained retired. But there you have it folks, 10 forgotten last matches of WWE Legends. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.